17th week in Ordinary Time, Friday reflection. Habit of perception. My dear friends, now you begin to see the same thing, and it can happen such a way that you lose the meaning of it. You lose the depth of it. It can happen to you and me. But then we find God in ordinary things. You don't have to expect extraordinary things all the time. You find Him in ordinary things, in ordinary ways. But then He is extraordinary. With the first reading, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "These are the appointed feasts of the Lord, holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at the time of appointed for them, at the time appointed for them. In the first month of the 14th day of the month of twilight, at twilight, it was the Lord's Passover." Now, what is Passover? They were saved from the captivity of Egyptians, and they crossed the Red Sea. So that feast, they experienced the Lord. So every Passover, they had a festival, and the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but you shall present a food offering to the Lord for 7 days. On the 7th day it is the holy convocation, and you shall not do any ordinary work. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land that I gave you and reap its harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord, so that you may be accepted. On the day after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. You shall count 7 full weeks from the day after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. Then you shall present grain offering of new grain to the Lord. Now on the 10th day of the 7th month is the day of atonement. It shall be for you a time of holy convocation, and you shall afflict yourself." My dear friends, see how they found God in their ordinary routine. So their unleavened bread and their Passover and their harvest, so the promised land, all these things, what they experience day-to-day life. Now, you should not miss that extraordinary experience in the ordinary lifestyle. That's what we call habit of perception. You begin to see the same thing, and you lose the enthusiasm, you lose the meaning, and you do things haphazardly, you soft pedal, taken things for granted. That's exactly what happened to the people in Nazareth. Jesus, at that time coming to his hometown, Jesus taught them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, "Where did this man get this wisdom and these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary?" Now, Jesus was brought up there, isn't it? His upbringing. So they saw him growing as an ordinary person. But then now he comes there to the synagogue. So all the Jews gathered, all his kith and kin, relatives, all the villages, they gathered there. Now he's speaking. They were astonished by the wisdom. And now see, immediately they saw him as a son of Mary and Joseph. That kind of curtailed them of getting the true message. They were worried about the past. My dear friends, this hard-heartedness can damage you like anything. You sometimes miss the point by looking at the person's personal life. God spoke to Balaam through a donkey. He can speak to you by using anyone, anything. But then if your pride can completely shut your spiritual ears, you will not begin to hear anything. That's terrible. That's terrible. Because he saw his upbringing, all the other people in the mission in Galilee and Samaria, he was preaching and he was so well accepted, but not his hometown. That can happen to you and me. We are so-called Catholics. We receive him daily. We receive him weekly. We miss him like anything. Because we are so used to things. It has become so habitual. And we don't know, we don't find the meaning. It is said, when you say Mass for priests, say it as if it is the first Mass and the last Mass. Think about your marriage. Think about your life. All your consecrated things, they have become ordinary things, isn't it? Like they saw Jesus' upbringing and now they're rejecting him. It can happen. But then it's a blessing if you can see the extraordinary through the ordinary thing. Then what happened? James and Joseph, his sons, and Judas, Simon and Judas are not his brothers and are not all his sisters with us. Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and in his own household. My dear friends, now this is terrible. This is terrible. They miss the whole point. They miss it completely because it is hometown. Because he saw them. So they could not see beyond the ordinary. They could not see. They saw, even in our lives, sometimes we see the weakness. We see loopholes. We see scarcity. And we can't experience God because we are so stuck with that skin. Not the inside. Not the real realm. Not the real depth of things. No. We are stuck. We get entangled with the surface. We don't go deeper. It can happen to you and for me, you and me. Because we are so hard-hearted. Like Mary Ben Massa. The Gospel says, and he did not do many works there because of their unbelief. But this is Gospel of Matthew. Another Gospel it is said, he could not perform any miracle. He could not. Because without your consent, he will never bulldoze his way. He will never persuade. For all his work, he needs your consent, isn't it? So without their consent and will, they can't do miracles. He can't do miracles. Just think about, you're stuck, stagnated self. You're so stuck in your marriage. You're so stuck in a system. You can't go beyond. Why? Because you're proud. Your pride has completely stopped everything. Go beyond what you see. Listen, but beyond what you listen. Always see beyond what you perceive. So that's the invitation. Amen. May God bless you.